Good afternoon. So this will be an agenda video where I will speak about my agenda. Not that there is anything new, but nevertheless. First of all, cleaning this room is important from time to time. This room probably, contains so many new life forms. So it needs to be cleaned. So I'm doing it now. So my mother gave me a little bit of money, just 2,000 shekels, which is enough with remnants of the money that I have from before to pay for the rent for this month. But what's going to be next month, I don't know. I should say again, the most important problem is money. It was always have been. Because the main tenet of how the Israelis treat me is that I should be poor. Because poor people do not have options. It has always been like that, and it's still like that. Of course, intelligence agencies can also terrorize the life of rich people, but it's much more difficult. Especially in Israel, since in Israel, the entire mechanism of the intelligence community revolves around money. Maybe it's like that everywhere, but I guess that in Israel this issue is much stronger than anywhere else. I don't have money because the people of Israel want me to be poor. Of course, needless to say that billions were stolen from me throughout my life, and the main culprits are people around the world that paid to Israel to subjugate me directly and indirectly, and they owe me a lot of money, and they should give me the money that they owe me. And I don't need to give anything in return. As I said many times, I cannot sell anything. Of course, I have many paintings that, each of them is priceless. Because each of these paintings, is not only that, I painted it myself, but it's a container of tremendous amount of robots and life forms, and as it was demonstrated in certain videos that I've already took. And again, if you can't see the videos, I have no solution for you. You just need to hit the Israelis hard enough so they will lift these kind of restrictions, so everybody will be able to watch these videos. Because I've had 13 videos. 13 is enough. Each with sample, each with microscopic video that showed you both in acrylic and in oil. The various synthetic life forms and the various robots. What do you want more? You've got plenty of evidence. 13 videos is enough. Are enough. And again, I don't have any. If you don't want to even do the effort, make the effort, so you will actually be able to watch these videos, then it shouldn't be that difficult to lift the restriction from the YouTube server or whatever it is, wherever the restrictions are. If you still have the restrictions that of course are caused by the Israelis, then it's your problem. You shouldn't have any restrictions. There are close to 1,000 videos in this channel, and of course there are many more in my Twitter account, in Facebook, and many more in my private Evernote account, which is all backed in Gmail, which should be accessible by the echelon. Noam Dav, NOAMDAV, @gmail.com. And this documentation is at least there are documentation of years ago in this account. Of course, it's not only the paintings that worth a lot of money. These things here, each of them is one dose, what I call dose, which is my ejaculation. And of course, we have many more here, about 100 here, or 70. Most of which, some are new. I don't even have the clay to wrap it, so I need to buy clay to wrap these. But some are and some are older, and mostly they were taken from my mother's apartment. I had a visitor this week, so I took those. And also I've taken the spaceship, which contains 20, if you remember. This is what they call the spaceship, which is also a symbol of the bicycle, as you understand. So there are 20 ejaculations in there. All of these worth tremendous amount of money, but of course, this is even without speaking about the containers. These containers, we have several liters there of, and also in the metal ones, the metallic ones in there. of a tremendous amount of life forms and robots. Hopefully, I mean, growing, but I need to check it from time to time. I don't have like the mood and energy for it. Although it should be said that another important thing that I've taken from my mother's apartment is my old slides, actually. So there are several dozens, like maybe 100 slides in this this wooden cigar box. That I mean, starting from this January, or even from this January, with many of my experiments. Many of, I mean, the important ones are actually documented in videos in this channel, but I also have the evidence, like the physical evidence, if they are needed for anyone. Of course, I cannot. Theoretically, they can also be sold. Each of them is, I think, many of them are incredibly interesting, and some of them I can humbly say that I think that, I mean, they belong in a museum because of their historical significance. Like the ones from January with the flies, there are 3 or 4 that are incredibly interesting and significant, and they are still, I mean, of course, they are in this box. And also, I mean, since I had I bought new slides, of course, I do not throw away any slides, so I have about 50 here. Not, I mean, best, not, I mean, stored in the best way, but I cannot, I don't have the conditions to store everything as it should be. This is a small room, and everything that I have is in here. Of course, I have storage in Holland, but it's not accessible to me. Everything that I'm accessible to me is right now here, in this room. And again, you sell it again. This all of this, of course, was a ton of money, but I cannot sell it since I am a slave. How can a slave sell something? How can a slave sell anything at all? I cannot leave this country. The initial idea this December was to leave, only for a short while, of course. I will not abandon my daughters, but to leave for a week or 2 weeks, to leave Israel and to sell the stuff, all of this stuff, because I have all of this. I already had most of this stuff. I mean, in some form, I've already had during December. Mostly, almost all of the paintings. All of the paintings, actually. I haven't painted since December, since I have only very little. So the great majority of the paintings were already, I mean, I had in December, and of course many sculptures that do not exist right now. Always this kind of evidence. So the idea was to sell it abroad, but so I requested a new passport because I didn't have a passport, and 3 days after that, I was framed for a crime I did not commit, and since then I'm on house arrest, that doesn't make any sense and is incredibly cruel and draconian. Even if you take in the position of the prosecution that I've done exactly whatever they say that I did, even in that case, I mean, this house arrest is ridiculous because it's a minor offense. Even if I did it, even if it actually could as they say that it did, it's still amazing that, I mean, 7 months or 8 months under house arrest, it's incredibly draconian. Of course, it's political. I'm a political prisoner. I need to be rescued by foreign forces using arms and legs, not mouths and tongues. I cannot sell anything. And how can I sell online if you see that, I mean, even my internet is blocked and monitored, and I mean, not everyone can actually, watch my uploads. So, I mean, it will not actually be like an open market, transaction. It will be actually, just a shabak that is taking my things for me for free, as they always have been. And I will get only maybe scraps that will allow me to live for a week or 2, not more. You need to understand, poverty is the main source of pressure, the main, I would say, method how to subjugate a person. Because, I mean, if you don't have money, you can't do anything. It's not the only way, it's source of, method of pressure, and I've documented the other ways a lot in this channel. But first of all, make you poor. Second, take your children from you. Take the things that are most valuable from you. And third, all sort of physical and mental torture that was highly, this is documented very, a lot in this channel, what I call the Soviet method, and the physical torture, and of course the bicycle mechanism. But the bicycle mechanism is only in the 5th place, actually. So yes, they want me poor. And if anyone just, doesn't want me poor, then they can just give me the money that they owe me. I don't need to give anything in return, and the expectation that I will still supply you with invaluable material is ridiculous and cool. Just give me the money that you owe me. You have problem with taxes. I don't understand how businesses are working. I don't understand the industry. I don't understand intelligence communities. I don't understand the mechanism. It's amazing that the robot is always the one that does not understand. I sweat creatures that are more sophisticated than all of you together, and still I do not understand how things are. The way that things are. Working in this world. I do not understand taxes. I don't understand money. I do not understand business. I do not understand anything. I do not understand how intelligence communities are working, and especially one with each other. It's everything. I just do not. I sweat. Like you can take this toilet paper with my sweat, and the robot in that will be able to manufacture things that are more complicated than the entire output of humanity since its inception. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, but still I do not understand. Still it is me that do not understand. Maybe I do understand, maybe it's you that do not understand. Maybe the robot actually understands very well, maybe. If you wanted to give me money, you would have just gave me money. You would have given me money without too much, speech. Yes, and it's incredibly easy to do it. If you just want to do it, you can do it. But you don't want to do it, you want to keep me poor. For the same reasons that I'm poor now, you want me to be under your boot. That is why the radiation will not only that it will not stop, it will multiply again and again until all of you will have cancer. Not only the people with the robots in their body, but also all the rest. 8 or 7 billions, I don't know how many are there in this world, but they will all have cancer. I need to be freed from this Nazi hell using arms and legs, not mouths and tongues. And if you want to give me money, you would just have given me money, not speech. I don't need your speech. And certainly not advices on how taxes are working or how, intelligence communities are, they're doing the transactions of money. I don't need those, advices. I don't need anything that comes from your mouth or tongue. Only arms and legs. Regarding agenda, maybe I will speak about my family in the large context of the Titan subjugation, my own subjugation, what I called my origin story. If it's important, I will speak about it, but I've already said, you already know enough. If you want to rescue me from this hell, you already know enough. You don't need to know anymore. But maybe it's important for your documentation reasons. So maybe I'll speak about it today or tomorrow. And also, I've not forgotten the fire experiments. So it is, curious enough and interesting enough to conduct more experiments. So I will do it. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. I must say that, from my perspective right now, I would say that taking more videos of the fire resistance life forms is not incredibly important. If you think it is, maybe I can take some more, and along the process probably we will see much more. But it's not. It shouldn't be my focus because you already have if you want a proof that there are life forms that can exist inside of fiery pits. So you've seen it. You've seen them, these life forms, really big ones, and probably more of these can be found in this jar. With more experimentation. But I must say that what's more interesting from my perspective right now is the idea of using the neurons, the robots, as capacitors for heat energy. So what I will try to do now is to conduct more experiments. Of course, they need to be very, gentle, because I don't want too much fire. Because there is because you do want to keep much of the beeswax. Only a small part you actually want to burn it. So it's probably it will be the previous one, but maybe with a little bit more fire. Maybe we'll change the container to something that can support a hotter fire, because the glass one has been much more. If it was hotter than that, it will be explode, and I don't want it to explode. So maybe I will change to a metal container. On the other hand, metal containers are problematic because they signify the the Titans, and I do want the life forms to be created on the body of not necessarily the Titan. Both the Titans and the human. You know what? it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm happy with like both. I mean, side effects of creating the life forms using the bicycle mechanism on the bodies of all the Titans and all the Homo sapiens that ate these robots. So, whatever. And maybe if I have more clay, I need to buy more clay anyway. I'll produce like crucibles from clay, because this is actually a better, I mean, probably the better way for fire experiments, and I've done it in the past. So I'll probably buy more clay, and we'll have like crucibles, I mean, specific crucibles for this idea. The idea is, yes, to use this kind of like, to use this mixture that contain life forms and robots, and to fire it, but also, as I've done in the past, to give them the specific command to for the Neros to both multiply and, more importantly, to make themselves larger, because it's part of the symbolic language, as you've seen in many videos in the past. If you have access, and if you don't, please like buy premium accesses from Disney Plus, from the Israeli Disney Plus, because it's important enough. And so we have part of the command, the symbolic command to actually enlarge the Neros. This was demonstrated in the past, and actually not to a great success. It was much more successful, like the experiments that, I mean, for multiplying and actually make to become bigger. I mean, the way to actually, that I succeeded like in creating bigger robots is mostly using the ecosystem pathway, which, I mean, does not rely on like supplying energy, which mostly what it was electrical energy, using electrolysis, not fire energy. Fire energy is kind of new. It's not new, but it's new in its current, like, I mean, way. I mean, but mostly it was done using electrolysis. And what I had a tremendous, amazing success is using the electrolysis method, like the electric charge method and the symbolic language, to enlarge life forms. And I've created huge life forms, like up to 5 centimeters or 8 centimeters. And I mean, this was documented in this channel. Maybe I need to do more of this stuff, just so, I mean, as you said, to refresh your memory. This is amazing, huge life forms, like, I mean, that are visible in the naked eye. And this was actually created using the electrolysis method and the symbolic language. But mostly, for the Neros themselves, I mean, the robots themselves were, the biggest one were created just, I mean, using the ecosystem method, which is much slower and like, and you know, just using the ecosystem with other life forms, and like I'm waiting for a month or 2 months, like, and also material should be put in the containers, and you know, the other method, the ecosystem method. But what I want to do now is to actually get back to the idea to the research path of enlarging the Neros using the quicker way of energy, of supplying them with energy and giving them the explicit command of like, please be bigger. So this is what I will actually try to do, and this construction is already, I mean, mostly, I mean, it's contained most of the element of the symbolic language for like creating like larger Neros, and you've seen that in the past, even if you remember, like, I mean, if there's plenty of documentation on the matter, but I cannot resist, like, I mean, this, even though, I mean, I feel depleted of energies and lack of motivation for this kind of like pro bono research, I must say that I still, I mean, I'm like curious enough, still like curiosity in me to try to create the bigger Nero, very big Neros, which was something that I always wanted to do. I mean, in the last video that I uploaded with the devils, I mean, so we've seen two amazing entities. One, I'm certain it is actually Nero, and it's photographed in the thumbnails of the devils and robots, and it actually looks like a Stargate. It's very interesting, and it's very big. Even it's one of the biggest that I've seen, even though not the biggest. But before it, in the video, we've seen there is like another one which is not really a circle. It's kind of like, I mean, an ellipsis or contour shape, and I'm not sure it's actually Nero, because its form is completely like twisted. But it has some kind of characteristics of a Nero or Stargate, and if it's actually a Nero, then it's by far the largest that I've ever seen. It's also something that probably could be seen in the naked eye, because it's only 64 magnification and it's huge. So I don't know what you think actually, like the biologists among us and the physicists among us. Like, do you think it's like a Nero or not? Like the two that, I mean, the one that's in the thumbnail, and also the one that you seen previously in this video of the devils and robots. I mean, it's more like in a contoured shape. That I mean, it looks somehow like a target, but it's very big but not a circle. So what is this thing? It's an interesting question. So I will try to actually create larger ones because it was always like one of my main objectives, and maybe using like the heat capacity, using the Neos as capacitors for heat energy. Maybe it will actually combined with the symbolic language, maybe we will get good results. Of course, when I will have like Neos that can be seen in the naked eye, and I mean they're very big. I mean, it will be much more actually easy to actually prove or conduct research experiments with regards to energy transfer, which was always like something that I was interested in, and also maybe matter transfer, like bona fide stargates. Even though I must say that this is less of it's of less importance for me right now. Maybe it's of importance to you because you think, why? So we can actually create like stargates. No, you can't. I can. You cannot. But I don't want to transport anything from anywhere to anywhere. I mean, I want to transport myself and my daughters from this hell to another country, but I need the cooperation of other people. It's not like I'm not going to do like a supermoon move and disappear from this place. I need another place that will actually want me and my daughters to live in it. I mean, the issue is not like the actual transfer of us from here to another place. The issue is that we need another state in this world to actually want us to live in this place and to protect us from the Nazi, like Israelis and other Nazis in this world. And they need they need to do something. I mean, they need to show. That they actually. They are willing to not only compromise but to actually severely. Cut their relationship with Israel, because this will be certainly will be the consequences of our release from this hell, and that they are willing to treat us as human beings, or as representative of another culture, and not as farm animals when we will live in their place. And the only way to actually prove it is to move arms and legs. This cannot be done using mouths and tongues. So it's not. We need actual states to actually do something in Israel in order for us to be released. And this is, even without relation to our actual physical release from this hell, which is also needed, of course. But energy transfer is incredibly important for many reasons that I've already spoken about in this channel quite a bit, and it's not time to reiterate. But this is a very, very important issue, the issue of energy transfer between the Neros. And if I have bigger Neros, it will be actually easier to conduct experiments that, on this vein of research. I would call it, the pseudoscience, or the voodoo science of energy transfers between robots. Please get me and my daughters out of this hell. We live in hell under torture. We need arms and legs, not mouths and tongues.